Hey, welcome to Donna and Friends. This week I've got a great show lined up for you. We're going to be talking to OSU's head coach, Travis Ford. Let's check it out.
No, it is great to be here. This is, I do this quite a bit this time of year as basketball season's coming about. But this is the first one that I've done this season. So I'm anxious to talk a lot of basketball, so hope you got a little bit of time. I won't ramble too much. But thank you for the invitation. Thanks for reaching out. Appreciate it very, very much for the invitation to be here. As basketball season's going to be here before you know it. We've been practicing now for about 3 weeks. We've been going full go for about 3 weeks now. And I like our basketball team. Reminiscing a little bit about how fast 6 years go by as I head into my 7th season. When we took over, it's never easy to take over for over somebody like Eddie Sutton, who's I consider one of the greatest coaches to ever coach, and somebody who I look up to and admire a great amount. But it's never easy to do that. And, we took over a program that was struggling when we took with the incredible amount of tradition Oklahoma State basketball has. That's one of the reasons I wanted to be a part of this is the tradition of Oklahoma State basketball that Coach Iba created, and then on with, obviously, Coach Sutton. We've been to 4 out of the last 6 NCAA tournaments, which is an incredible feat in itself. We've beat number 1 in America twice. We've beat number 2 in America. We've beat a lot of ranked opponents. We won a lot of big games. But we want more. Just like I know everybody in here, if you're an Oklahoma State fan, you want more, and we want more, no doubt about it. It's great that we've made the NCAA tournament. Wonderful. It's a tough thing to do. People don't realize how hard it is just to make the NCAA tournament. But we want to go far in the NCAA tournament. That is our goal. That's what we're trying to work towards. And tried to build on. Last season we had a very good team, a very good basketball team with some very good players. We started the season out a top 20 team, and the next thing you know, we were ranked number 5 in America. We were sitting like 16-2, probably doing better than anybody even expected at that point, even though there was high expectations for last year's team, very high expectations, and there should have been. But we even came out of the gates probably playing better than anybody expected. We beat ranked teams along the way, Memphis, Colorado, different teams. And then what I call the human element came into play. The human element, life. Life came into play. Injury, Michael Cobbins. We had a young man on our team that wasn't doing the right things, and we tried to help, and we tried to do everything we could, and then I had to dismiss him. And then, Marcus Smart was going through a lot of things. People don't even realize that was going on off the court, things that were going on, family and different things. And everybody knows, the incident we had at Texas Tech. And we went, as I said, the wheels fell off. They fell off and went through a very difficult stretch, probably the most difficult stretch in my coaching career. And I'm going in, as John mentioned, I'm going into my 18th season as a college head coach. 18 years of college head coach, and that stretch that we went through was probably the most challenging thing I've been through as a coach. And I've taken over some pretty bad programs that we had to rebuild, and there were some tough years at times. But that 7-game stretch that we went through was as challenging as I've had to as a head coach, for the reason we had so much going on, so much outside distraction going on, that we had to keep our team together in that locker room. And that's not easy to do when all your games are on TV. Everybody's talking about it. It's not an easy thing to do in today's age, because all the social media that goes along with it, it's difficult. But one of the greatest, although that was the greatest challenge, I think one of the most gratifying moments is we played ourselves out of it. Because a lot of times when teams go through that stretch, a lot of them will give up. A lot of them will, it's the end of them. But to play ourselves out of it and go on to make the NCAA tournament, we beat Kansas here when they were ranked 4th in America. We beat Kansas State. We went to Iowa State and should have beat them. They made a last-second shot on us. We lost in triple overtime to Iowa State earlier in the year. But to be able to play ourselves out of it and finish strong, other than just did not play well in the NCAA tournament, there were no excuses. Last year, our last 6 games of the year, I thought we were playing as well as anybody in America. Anybody in America after the 7-game stretch. Because, again, we beat Kansas State at home when they were playing great. We beat Kansas when they were ranked 4th in America. We went on the road and beat TCU. We won a lot of games, and then we go to the Big 12 tournament, beat Texas Tech, and then we lose in overtime to Kansas again in overtime in the Big 12 tournament in an incredible game where we played really, really well. And then in the NCAA tournament against Gonzaga, we just didn't play well. Plain and simple, just did not play very well. Gonzaga outplayed us. So, we regrouped over the summertime and talked about, yes, we've had a lot of good things happen at Oklahoma State, a lot of big wins for the basketball program. We look back and said, it is great that we've been to 4 out of the last 6 NCAA tournaments. But what do we need to do to take the next step? What do we need to do to go further? And that's where we're at right now. We're recruiting. Recruiting's going really, really well. Forrest can't really talk about our recruits that have committed to us, but that's going really, really well. And this basketball team this year, I think you're going to like it a lot. A lot. For the reason it is probably the toughest, grittiest team that I've coached. I mean, they get after it. In practice, we've almost had to take a step back for the fact we were afraid we were going to get guys hurt, how hard they play. They dive on the floor on every play. It is just a really scrappy group of guys. Now, our season is going to be dependent on basically 4 guys. 4 guys that, hey, I'll put my season on these 4 guys. Michael Cobbins, who obviously last year our season changed when Michael Cobbins got hurt. It changed just like that. He's a leader of our team. He understands our system better than anybody on our team. He is 6'10", can block shots and rebound. When we lost that, we lost a lot. He's back 100% and playing very, very well. Much better than I expected at this point in time. Playing very well. Phil Forte's back. Phil Forte's a junior now. His freshman, sophomore year was a double-digit scorer. Was a role player his first 2 years. Now he's stepping into a bigger role. And those 2 guys are our captains. Michael Cobbins and Phil Forte are the captains of our basketball team. Those 2 guys right now are being terrific leaders, great leaders on the court as well as off the court. Then we've got LeBron Nash, who's in his senior year. And LeBron, we're really challenging him to learn everything that he's been through in the last 3 years, the good, the bad, everything. Learn from all of it. Learn from all of it to make sure your senior year is the best year you've ever had. Your senior year, make it the best year you've ever had and don't have any regrets. Don't look back, LeBron, and say, man, I wish I'd worked harder. Don't look back and say, wish I'd done this. I'd wish I'd done that. Because there is no next year. There is no more next year. Yesterday, I think it was October 27th. And as I remind him before every practice, you will never, ever have another October 27th in your college basketball career. Ever again. You don't get to come back next year. So what are you going to make out of this day? What are you going to make out of October 27th? And that's the attitude. If he has the attitude that he's going to make this and learn from everything and make this the best year, then he could be a special player. And then another young man that you may have heard about but you don't know a lot about is a young man named Anthony Hickey. Anthony Hickey is a transfer from LSU. Anthony Hickey will be our point guard. He was a 3-year starter at LSU. 3-year starter. Now, these 4 guys I just mentioned, I think our season depends on those 4 guys because they are the most experienced. They've all played in big games, and they all understand what it takes to win in the Big 12. Anthony Hickey understands it because he's played in big games in the SEC. Those 4 players are proven players at this level. Proven. Michael Cobbins is proven. LeBron Nash is proven. Phil Forte is proven. Anthony Hickey is proven. Now, they've proven they can play, but now they got to prove that they can win big. That's what they've got to prove. They prove that they can compete and win games, but now they all 4 have to have the best years they've ever had, all 4 of them. If all 4 of those guys play at the level I expect them to play at, then we're going to surprise a lot of people. A lot of people. Because the rest of the team, they're just hungry. They're very good role players. We've got Leighton Hammonds, who played for us last year as a freshman, has really played well. We've had 2 inter-squad scrimmages. That's where we bring in referees, and we actually scrimmage. One of them was last night. I divide up the teams as evenly as I think they can be, and we scrimmaged, and we did one last Monday night as well. And Anthony Hickey's led us in scoring. He's led us in assists. He's done very, very well. Leighton Hammonds is another player that's played at a very high level in practice every day, who's going to play a lot of minutes for us. Jeffrey Carroll, a young man we redshirted last year, 6'5". Right now in those 2 inter-squad scrimmages, he was the 3rd leading scorer behind Anthony Hickey and Phil Forte. 6'5", just a great shooter at his size, a big-time shooter who can get his shot off and score points very, very quickly. So he's a young man to keep an eye on that could be very, very good.
So I hope you're enjoying our interview with Coach Ford. We'll be back with just a little bit more Coach Ford, so don't touch your mouse or your basketball.
Tigers win! Tigers win! Tigers win! Lady Tigers are 2-2!
You're watching RDMG TV.